Alright, we're here for round one. I'm not really sure whether this is a play first or draw first format. We weren't given that choice. He's chosen to play first. And this hand's a little bit awkward. Stitch Drake with really nothing to go with it. Bonds of Faith, which we're almost certainly going to have to use on his first dude, and if it's a human, we can't lock it down. Brimstone Volley that we can't cast. I mean, this has lands and spells, but it's not very good. What could turn this hand on? We would need some type of 2 or 3 drop. I don't think I'm going to mull this. It's a little loose, but hopefully he's not playing humans and we can shut his first guy down with Bonds of Faith. It's blue and Civilized Scholar. That was about the best draw we could get. We'll filter our useless things. And nothing for the first couple of turns. Play planes and pass. Gonna think twice. Yep. 3 mana. See, I think I'm gonna... I don't know if people would main deck this card, but I'm definitely just gonna play around the discard spell since he doesn't have me under any pressure. I mean, I really want to get the Civilized Scholar down though. There's no reason to play into a known trick. Oh, he could have Dissipate too. And I definitely don't want to get this dissipated, so. He's just flashing back thing twice. Okay. And the pass. I will happily run this looted test subject into whatever he plays. Oh, Moon Heron. That's pretty strong. Elder Cathar, you say. Well, I am still just going to run the Civilized Scholar out. Pass the turn. I'm fine with taking a hit from Moon Heron. Ooh, he's an Athalia Drownyard. That could become relevant. Hopefully he'll just mill us so we don't have to worry about discarding creatures, specifically the Civilized Scholar. Claustrophobia. Darn. That's fine. We'll just run out Gallows Warden and pass. We have the late game pretty much locked up on the back of this test subject. I'm perfectly fine with trading Gallows Warden and then removing to Stitch Drake. Maybe he's going to play his own Stitch Drake. Lots of black mana. Makeshift Mauler. Sure. We got a Claustrophobia for that, but I think we'll just play Stitch Drake and put a counter on our test subject and pass. Or do we want to Bonds of Faith this? Not entirely sure. We do have backup removal spell. Yeah, I think I'm just going to Bonds of Faith. It's a pretty good guy to Bonds of Faith. Still got 5 full cards in his hand. He Dream Twists himself into nothing. Bunches of mana. Scourge of Gaia Reach. Okay. That guy's pretty big. I could lock this down with Claustrophobia, but I think I want to develop my board for a turn. I think I'm fine with taking a hit for 6 or 7. Also, I may have to do commentary on these games later because that noise is just obnoxious. Um, How do we want to do this? That Scourge of Gaia Reach is going to be annoying, but I'd prefer to just play Moonhair in this turn, and then next turn if we draw a land, lock it with Claustrophobia, and then like if we draw a land, play Claustrophobia, Elder Cathar. I think that fits our curve a little better. So I think we'll just attack with Stitch Drake. He's not blocking. I wouldn't even be too opposed to, depending on what he does, chumping with Ludovic's test subject at some point. Gonna swing for 7. I'm gonna take it. What do we got? Kessig Wolf. Okay. Ooh, Slayer of the Wicked. Huh, that's a little unfortunate. Okay, I think we're just gonna lock him under Claustrophobia. Alternatively, we could just play Elder Cathar. How does that change our clock? We could just play Elder Cathar, block Scourge, and put a +1/+1 counter on one of our flyers. So we attack for 6 this turn, puts him to 11. It just doesn't change our clock at all. Unless we leave Stitch Drake back to block his Kessig Wolf, which seems also like a fine plan. Yeah, I think we'll do that. We'll just Claustrophobia this guy and hope the bomb that he plays is something that Slayer of the Wicked can deal with. And battle Moonhair. Flashback Dream Twist. It's nothing again. There must be some reason that he's playing these Dream Twists. It makes me a little concerned. We'll have to remember to put a +1/+1, or put a hatchling counter on Mr. Test Subject here. Now he Claustrophobia Stitch Drake. Okay. Double Claustrophobia. We may want to board in that Paraceline. It does blow up our own things too. I don't think I'm into blocking Kessig Wolf just yet. One thing is I really don't want to go below 5 if it can be helped, for obvious reasons. And we totally forgot to put a counter on our test subject, just like I said I wouldn't do. Awesome. Okay, so now we put him to 11, and then if we put a counter from the Cathar on Moonhair, we can kill him in 2 turns. In 3 turns after that. So if we play Elder Cathar, alternately we can attack for 3, put him to 11, play Lantern Spirit, swing for 5, put him to 6, and then play Elder Cathar. So that would involve us chumping with Ludwig's test subject next turn to prevent us from going to 5. Which of these plans is better? I think I'm just going to play out the Lantern Spirit. Our hand is pretty stacked. So I think I'm okay with getting rid of the test subject here. I don't think this is going to reach 13-13 in a realistic scenario. Perhaps would have if it had a counter on it from last turn. Alternately, we can just block his Kessig Wolf with Lantern Spirit and bounce it. That actually doesn't sound like a bad plan at all. The next attack will put him to 8. If he doesn't have an answer to Moonheron, he's going to die anyway. So we can chump with test subject or just block bounce. I think block bounce is fine. First strike, and then I'll return. That leaves Ludwig's test subject up to chump block something else. Tormented Pariah, sure. Now we just get to get him with Slayer of the Wicked. Silent Departure would be a fantastic draw right now. We're waiting on upkeep for some reason. Ooh, and Shimmering Grotto. Okay, now this changes our plans, because now we can look to just kill him with Brimstone Volley. That requires 4 mana. So he'll be at 8, and then he'll be at 5 the next turn. So yeah, I think all we have to do here is just not die. Swing with Moon Heron. And play Slayer of the Wicked. Blowing up Tormented Pariah. And then we'll look to swing next turn and then Brimstone Volley in. What has he got going on here? Hopefully not something to deal with Moon Heron. Please Harvest Pyre. Uh-oh. Looks like we are probably plays Harvest Pyre on Slayer of the Wicked. He has to have something to deal with our test subject, and so does he have Nightbird's Clutches and? We're clearly blocking here. Murder of Crows. Okay. We'll battle with Moon Heron here. Clearly looks like he's trying to kill us with Brimstone Volley. That's the only possible reason to make the attack that he made. I think it's better to actually play Lantern Spirit and Elder Cathar. That gives us 2 guys to block, and puts us on guaranteed lethal, whereas if he removes just one of our guys... Oh, I guess removing one of our guys would put us on lethal anyway. But... Or we could just play Murder of Crows to favorably block his Kessig Wolf. Yeah, that seems better. All we really need is something to die anyway, and he's just dead. Or, I mean, I guess all we have to do is survive this turn with Moon Heron in play, and then we can Brimstone Volley him to death. He's going to mill himself with Nephalia Drownyard. Night Revelers. Good, that's not Nightbird's Clutches, which would be one of his outs, I guess. If he attacks, we're snap blocking. And yep, that will do it. Okay, so we have multiple claustrophobias. And then a bunch of graveyard stuff. Presumably, this Purify the Grave is going to be good, but we just didn't see anything that would merit him milling himself so much. Paraceline could be useful with him having 2 claustrophobias, though it does destroy our Bonds of Faith and claustrophobia. So, and our Back from the Brink. Yeah, we don't think we want Paraceline on second thought. Turns out Village Bellringer is going to be really good, because we can definitely surprise him when he locks down our guys with claustrophobia. So he's got some big guys. I think Lost in the Mist is going to be pretty good. I mean, we can, again, it's another way to surprise knock off his claustrophobia, and his deck seemed pretty expensive and slow. Anything we particularly want to take out? His low drops. Did not seem all that impressive. Ludovic's test subject actually seems not impressive at all. All of his guys are bigger than it. We're basically looking at a 12 mana 13/13. I mean, even though it's invested over a couple of turns. Though, it might still be better than Selhoff Occultist, just because it presents a late game threat. I do want the Scab Goliath because it can deal with his Scourge of Gaia Reach pretty much no matter how big it is. Could also just take out Gallows Warden. I mean, it's not all that impressive, and is probably outclassed by his own Stitch Drakes. What do we want? What do we want? I think I'm just going to lose Selhoff Occultist here. That seems fine. And we'll see where it goes. On to game 2.